Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Matt and Carly podcast number 6. Here we are. It's after midnight. I am dragging major ass this evening. Carly's feeling motivated, so we're going to do a podcast for you guys. So we hope you enjoy it. We're just going to kick it off and go right into this topic. We're going to talk about this week and describe our current situation in a couple things. One being our horrendous internet service
That's a good
situation. Carly, I'm sure, has a long rant that she can go on.
Don't even get me started.
But on top of that, our kids did a couple things that I don't know if it makes me laugh more or cringe a little bit. What do you think?
Well, so minor update up front. My voice is probably at like 95% back to normal. But I lost my voice for most of this week, which I have a cough drop in my mouth too. So if you hear
From what?
Rattling, I don't know. It was just from like
Sickness.
a cold, but I didn't even feel like crap. I mean, I got a little tired, but I didn't feel any major like irritation in my throat. It just it just left my body.
What do you mean?
I told the girls that the sea witch took my voice from Ariel,
Ursula.
from The Little Mermaid.
Ursula came.
Which was funny because they were like, what? Because Lila lost her voice too. But anyways, so if it's a little hard to hear, if I crack a little bit, that's why. That's also part of our week in review. But.
Yeah. So just to fill you guys in, we just today, which is Sunday, we're recording this on a Sunday, finally got podcast number 5 to upload. And to put it as nicely as possible, we tried to upload it with our internet speed for 5 straight days.
On and off. It wasn't the same upload the whole time. We canceled and then re-uploaded, and then it would go. There's a part of YouTube that gives you a basically like an estimate for how much of the video has been uploaded.
Yeah. And
maybe 2 or 3 times it went over 100%.
We hit 146% one time.
I was like,
and I was so confused. And then 2 hours later, I walked back in and it said 10% uploaded.
You didn't like my theory about how it was just uploading a future podcast that we didn't even know was
It would have been funny.
It was us.
If it hadn't have been 4 days worth of me checking on this video to make sure. So this is where we're at.
YouTube has content, auto fills what you would have said. And it just continued on. So it just took basically the gist of our conversation. And it was we're just going to fill in. Yeah. So it created content for us. That's what I think happened.
I saw a television commercial, or internet, whatever, for Verizon 5G. Okay. The commercial goes like this. There's a guy standing with a phone, an iPhone or whatever. And he goes, yeah, we're getting 1.7 here in Los Angeles. And he was talking about gigabytes.
Millions of
1.7 gigabytes of download. That's download speed
How
to
many
a mobile phone.
Are in a gigabyte?
There's 1,000. So that's 1,700 times faster. 17. So right now, what we're doing, we're in a bad situation. So we get our internet because of Carly's job has to have a certain ping speed. And we live out in the country, and we can get satellite internet, which is faster typically. I think you can get upwards of 30 gigabyte, or I wish, 30 megabytes per second download and maybe 10 up, which is, that's good for satellite. But there's a delay, there's a lag. So the ping speed, basically the time when you do whatever you need to do, submit, a request, where it goes into outer space and it comes back. It's slower than cable or fiber or whatever, obviously. So for Carly, she has to have a certain ping speed, and you just can't get it with satellite. So we went through this big ordeal. We tried using our Verizon wireless hotspots, which was a nightmare because unlimited data with Verizon
It's
did not
actually unlimited.
Yeah, it's terrible. So once you hit their data limit, it like takes you down to like kilobytes per second, which is
super slow.
So terrible. So right now, as of today, we were actually utilizing T-Mobile through a modem and a SIM card. So basically, like outside of our regular cell phone service, we are taking advantage of T-Mobile's cell phone service, and we get unlimited data through this provider that Carly found. And so we were getting decent speeds. We were getting a lot faster. Anyway, whatever happened, either our modem went out or there's like, they're telling us that a T-Mobile tower's been down for like 14 straight days.
Scheduled maintenance.
Yeah, it's like real weird. So anyway, they're going to send us a new T-Mobile box. But earlier this week, or like at the beginning of this just past week, the company sent us an AT&T box, and we had that before, but it's like super slow. So right now, like if we're lucky and there's not a bunch of people on the AT&T network at the time, we get like 2 megabytes per second download and maybe 1 up. So like on a good day, it would take us at least 24 hours for our video to upload. Like basically a full day. You just like let it go and hopefully it goes through. So yeah, we had 2 or 3 times where the video basically failed to upload, and I was about ready to throw our computer out the window.
I hear you, dude. When we first moved here, and I ate a big bowl of humble soup because I realized that when we moved and the internet that we had was like good and there were no issues, I thought that's just how it was everywhere before we lived in the country. And like ignorant me, or naive me, I'm like, oh, internet won't be a problem. You just call a number and you get the internet.
Yeah.
It's not like that. When you're living in the country, there are limited options. And granted, if I wasn't working from home and I had to connect through a firewall, it wouldn't be a problem. It wouldn't present as many challenges as it has. But because of my work situation, that's where we run into issues. So,
yeah. And like before this, we had, I can't remember if it was like Comcast or whatever it was, but we were like, I upgraded from the basic
Xfinity, I think.
Yeah, whatever
Comcast,
it was.
yeah.
And we were getting like, on average, we could get up to 150 megabytes per second download.
So spoiled.
But we had like 20 megabytes per second upload, which compared to right now was flying fast. I didn't think it was that fast when we had it, but boy, yeah, it's like 20 times the speed of what we have. But now, yeah, just looking into like, if we lived in a bigger city, the stuff that we could tap into, like the Verizon Fios or basically all the fiber optic stuff that's out, it's like for the same amount of money that we're paying right now for what we have, we could be getting like 500 gigabytes per second download and like 500 gigabytes per second upload.
Would you call
insane.
Would you label ourselves now as cord cutters? Traditional cord cutters that marketing and like, advertising professionals say, which is cable.
So the only thing that I honestly like miss, we don't have cable.
I would say we're pretty close to what a cord cutter would be.
Yeah. The only things that I miss from having access to cable is like the NBA basketball games, like the TNT, TBS, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
ESPN, I mean, like, I'm not going to deny it. I like watching ESPN. And then the sport, like the Sportsman channel, Outdoor channel. But those were always extra. Yeah. So, and I think you can stream them. I don't now. There's just so much content on YouTube that
we watch a lot of.
What's the number one show that you miss from having cable?
Network is HGTV, and then show is probably like Fixer Upper and stuff. I enjoy kind of goofy stuff. Like I like the what was it called? Impractical Jokers, like that kind of stuff.
Did you see the advertisement for the movie? Yeah. They're coming out with an actual movie. It should be funny.
Impractical Jokers, the movie. Yeah. It's actually called that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's funny. I don't know. That stuff, that's the kind of stuff that I watch. It's just like goofy and whatever, but
yeah.
Yeah, I do miss some of it. But you know what's funny? I'm sure when we had cable, it was like we got, upwards of 100 plus channels. We probably watched, if you had to look at like a usage like chart of how much we watched, like how many minutes per channel, we probably spent most of our time in like 5 channels.
Oh yeah. No, like the majority of the channels we never watched. I couldn't
so
even
weird.
name them.
I know, it's weird.
Like every once in a while, like we'd watch, what was the show? American Pickers. Like that was on A&E, I think it was on, or whatever.
Channel?
History? Something like that, yeah. Like outside of that, we never watched hardly anything.
Well, it's so convenient now for people who don't have a lot of time or have kids or whatever, where you don't need all of that. You can really pick and choose and kind of a la carte your way through like what you want to see, like YouTube, and there's like Hulu, and you can do, Netflix and Amazon Prime and all this stuff. There's so many things that exist now that didn't exist even 10 years ago, where you're just like, I can just pick a very specific avenue and then just go down that.
Yeah. I remember so my boss 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whenever it was, he told me, he was like, yeah, we don't have cable in our house.
Oh, was it? From Cabela?
Yeah, Cabela's. And it was like,
okay, that makes sense, yeah.
He was like, we don't have cable. And I looked at him like, what do you do? But he lived out in the country and we did not. And I was like, I just didn't get a grasp on like, what do you do all day? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm sure it took him like all day for 2 days to mow his lawn. I'm like, I get it now. No, so like we went through, this last week was a little frustrating.
I ended up working.
These are like first world problems.
Really first world problems.
Big time.
Big.
We're like complaining because our internet speed isn't fast enough.
Yes. So.
But in all seriousness, it's like,
absolutely,
when you get spoiled and when you have reliable internet access, or like people that, like, I can speak to this because I was this person. People that live in town, in a city, whatever, a major metropolitan area, for example, there's so much internet access and so much speed that it would never cross your mind that, like, unless you don't pay your cell phone bill or unless you don't pay your internet bill, that you would lose it. Like you can't have it
when you want it.
Yeah, when we're out here, it's like, oh my gosh.
You're at the mercy of a lot of different factors.
It got me thinking, I'm like, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, would you rather have like heat, water, or internet access? I'd rather have internet access because I can solve the other two problems with internet access.
That's fair.
But I don't know.
Yeah, it was
rough.
It was challenging. Well, and it's funny because the options that I have when the internet goes down or it's out or it's slow or whatever, and our cell phone service is not great either. Like when I try to talk on the phone, it's just like people are like, "What? I can't hear you." Like because the quality of the calls. Something's wrong with your phone. Well, maybe.
It sounds like you're underwater.
It might be. But I think the quality of the calls get like really degraded as the service gets less and less. But yeah, the options that I have basically when the internet goes out are I take work off or I drive into town and I work from McDonald's. So
or Starbucks or
Starbucks.
Is it Bigby coffee?
Bigby. Yeah.
Carly sent me a message. She was like just about done doing whatever she was doing when she was in town because we didn't have internet. So I was like hanging out with her kids and she sent me a message and she goes, do you want anything from town before I come back? And I said, no, it's no big deal. She said, do you want a Coke? And I said, well, I mean, if you're going to McDonald's, like I would take a Coke from McDonald's. And she sent me a message back. She goes, excuse me, I'm basically an employee here now. Like I've put in more time this week than most of the employees that are on full time anyway.
Seriously. It's so, well, and it's like first world problems. I just get to sit in a nice warm place with people who are like checking on me. Like there's the nicest lady that works there and she's like, she does a lot of food running. So she'll run the food outside from like the main counter and then she sweeps up and she talks to people and she almost represents like what a hostess would be at like a sit down restaurant that you go into like, get a table.
Right.
She's the nicest lady. And I've talked to her like last year when I was going in, when this would happen. I kind of made this like funny relationship with her. So now when I see her, I'm like, hey.
She's like your McDonald's buddy.
I'm like, hey, how's it going? She's like, oh, you're like, how are you doing? Nice to see you again. Like internet down again. And I'm like, yep, that's I don't know. So, there's good things and bad things.
Would it be cheaper for you to just buy a cup of coffee?
Oh.
Like, instead of paying for the internet access that we have, would it actually be cheaper?
Yeah. Oh,
for you to just buy a cup of coffee?
For sure.
Every day, or like a cheeseburger or whatever.
$1. It'd be $30 a month.
It'd be less than that because you'd only be like
$20 a month.
Oh, man. We blew it. So anyway, not to be on a negative note today, but
that happened.
Yeah, it was a tough week because our first world problem of internet access was we were struggling, and without cable, and I'm just gonna layer it on there. We do have an antenna for our television, but it only picks up like 2 channels, so we get like PBS Kids, and then we get ABC and NBC, and depending on what is on. We can only watch the kids DVDs.
I don't even miss it anymore.
No.
It becomes overwhelming when we go to someone's house and they have cable. Yeah. I get overwhelmed now where I'm like, this is so much. Like, I don't want any of this.
I just spend all my time flipping through the guide.
Seriously. I'm not even kidding. Like,
I just thought I saw a mouse. I literally just thought I saw a mouse run across the floor.
Don't say that.
Sorry.
That's another part of our week. I had to set mouse traps by myself.
Yeah.
Do you know how stressful that is?
I thought you were joking.
No. I didn't want to set them. I have a thing we got in our marriage contract that I made up that he doesn't know about. We have our official marriage contract, and then I have one that I wrote that I put things on that he doesn't know about. And one of them includes setting mouse traps.
Yeah. So I have to kill disgusting bugs and spiders. If a tree falls down over the road, it's my responsibility to chainsaw it out.
I'm not getting your chainsaw.
And then chopping wood is me.
For a hot,
and setting
toasty fire.
Mouse traps.
Yeah.
Now what happens if we actually catch a mouse? Will you take it out of the trap for me?
I did. I did 3 of them. I took out 3.
Oh, you did. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You did.
It was gross. Let me just get this. Let me just get one thing straight. I am very capable of learning how to do new things. I'm a very coachable individual, and I can learn with the best of them, but I don't want to. That's why you have to do it.
Carly told me she was gonna.
I didn't want to do it.
Google how to set the mousetrap.
You outweighted me long enough to the point where I got so mad that I just did it myself. I was like, fine. I walked downstairs. I was like, fine, I'll just set them. It can't be that hard. So I Googled it really fast. There was a nice gentleman that had a 2-minute video.
Did you really snap your finger?
I did. I didn't understand. See, dude, I learned.
The ones we have are
I didn't
traps.
understand that. Okay, here's what I thought. Let me tell you what I thought a mousetrap was. I thought a mousetrap operated in this way. Okay. I thought when you set the trap, the little stick, the stick trigger goes into a hole, which is like a spring loaded. This is what I thought.
Okay.
And then I thought when the mouse pushed
steps
in the center, like a trigger on a gun. Almost like a trigger on a gun, or like a bear trap where there's the center and you have to punch it and then it mechanism engages and it snaps and goes.
Not even
That's
close.
what I thought it was. I didn't realize that when you set the trap, if you touch any part of the metal thing, that it just triggers and goes.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's got a sensitivity to it. A lot of it has to do with if you put something sticky on the trigger.
They move, it gets stuck and they move.
Yeah. You want to put something sticky on it.
That makes sense. So anyways, I set 3 mouse traps and I'm gonna recreate what my face looked like when I went to let go, when I officially hooked. I was like, okay, this is a thing. And I stuck it under the little thing. And I went to I had both of the things, and I was like, and I pulled my hands back because.
And it snapped you?
No, I just didn't know what it was going to do because you have to stick it right underneath that little flap.
What? Wait a minute. I'm so.
You know what I mean?
The mousetraps. Is this going to be a mousetrap podcast? Okay.
I told you, our whole podcast is just about rodents and rodent control.
Yeah, but this. Okay. Well, hold on. The Victor mousetraps that we have.
No. Oh wait, that's not the red and gray one. It's the actual wooden
Victor
plank one.
It's just the wooden piece of board, and it's got a spring-loaded bar.
Yeah.
And it's got a single metal.
Yep.
How did you set it?
What did I do wrong? Is that why we haven't been catching any mice? No.
It's set. But how did you go about?
Okay, so
the way you do it.
Well,
safely.
Let me tell you, and then you could tell me if I did it wrong.
Okay.
So there's the bar that looks like this, right?
Uh-huh.
So that goes up
the part
and down.
that actually slams and
that
smashes the mouse.
It. And then you have the little trigger bar that's just like loose.
Uh-huh.
And then you have like the little thing where you put the actual food.
Okay.
In.
So like you have a catch.
Yeah.
It's got a catch.
That's the catch.
Yeah.
So
and then you've got the pin that comes over and holds the snare part
So
down.
I pulled the snare back. That's a spring thing. Pulled the snare back.
All the way.
Took the bar and it's over top of the spring part. Yeah. And then you gently
underneath.
slide the little indented hook part at the end, just underneath that little thing. Yeah. So that it did. But at some point in the process, you have to let the pressure get so much where the pin is holding on to the little middle part. What's it called?
Like the release part?
The part where you put the food.
Yeah, like the release.
Okay, so there's a point where you have to trust that it hooked correctly, right? And you have to let it go, and you have to take your hands off of it to see if it worked. And when you take your hands off of it, you're holding the spring-loaded part, and you have to just trust that it's going to catch. So my face was when I let go of it, because that was the first time I did it. I was like, okay, I don't know how
I need to go get one of these.
I don't know how this thing works. So when I was letting go of I was releasing the pressure on my hands, I was like, did I do it right? I didn't know.
Wait, did it snap you at that point?
No.
When did it snap you?
When I went to grab it. I went to grab it, and I grabbed the side of it, and I just barely pinched the side, and that's how I didn't realize. I thought you had to touch the center of it. I'm 30 years old, and I just learned about
how did you... I'm so confused. I still don't know how you did it. Okay, the way you have it, right? You got your mousetrap like this.
I'm almost 100% confident I said it correctly.
Oh, you did.
I just grabbed it like an idiot. The way that
you do it safely is you pull the spring back all the way.
Yeah.
And then you pinch. You put your thumb on the spring.
Yeah.
And put so you're pinching the wood and the spring together.
Yeah.
So you've got one hand. It's low. It's the spring tension's all the way back.
Yeah.
And then you've got your thing, and you just hold it, and then you slowly let go.
Yeah.
And it stops.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to snap your finger.
I mean, I didn't know that. My brain
And then when you let it go, you hold the backside of it.
Yeah, I got that
behind
part.
The snap.
Okay, so I got 9 out of 10 steps.
I still don't know how you snapped your finger in it.
But it's okay. I grabbed it like this.
This is what we were dealing with.
I bumped it.
Our internet went down.
I had to set mouse traps.
Having to set mouse traps and snapping her finger.
I have a general anxiety disorder in general. You know this.
What do you mean?
I
know you're super
overanalyze.
anxious.
I have analysis paralysis, and I think about things way too much sometimes. So when I go to set a mousetrap, if you could take a brain scan of my brain when I'm setting a mousetrap, it's like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. That's what it was like.
Yeah.
So yeah. So hence now full circle why my face was like, pull my hands back like an idiot. Anyways, so we have 4 mousetraps downstairs that are set correctly that have not trapped any mice.
I think we got them all that first night.
I don't know. I'm sick of talking about mice.
Yeah. So
on all of our podcasts.
Yeah, it's just mice. So internet was out. Luckily, I felt so good today. The podcast 5 uploaded. I'm like,
finally,
it's about time. Okay, so it uploads. But earlier in the day, or was it yesterday? It was yesterday. Yesterday? I can't even remember. It's all a blur. Is it just us, or every once in a while, people with kids, do you set your kids down on a couch and play a movie and then hope that they kind of zone out for a half hour?
No, it's not just us.
Because Carly and I were taking advantage of that half hour. We went to a different room and we were just in there by ourselves. We were
looking at the podcast and trying to figure out why it wasn't
okay,
uploaded.
We're just going to have 30 minutes of adult time.
Yeah.
And one of the kids knocked on the door and we're like, we'll be on just a sec. And I thought it was Lauren. It sounded like Lauren. It might have been Lila. Anyway, it wasn't even a half hour. It was probably 15 minutes. So we opened the door, and we're like just outside the living room. The kids are sitting in the living room.
Everybody's
being
safe.
quiet.
Adam
Yeah, no. I mean, there's
just putting that out
we
there.
We weren't like way far away. We were like 2 feet away. Just
we
with
drove
the door
into
closed.
town for a little while.
No, they were watching a movie, and you can hear every single thing that goes on in this house, like anywhere you are. So they're watching a movie, and so I open the door, and the girls are sitting watching a movie, and I notice there is the biggest mixing bowl we own sitting on the couch with a complete family size bag of what are they? Frosted mini wheats. Frosted mini wheats with probably a gallon of milk in it. So just to put that, like, just to shape that, our kids can probably eat a bowl with maybe 10 Frosted mini wheats in it, and there's pushing 200.
All of them.
The
whole
all
box.
of them. And it was like the soggiest, sloppiest looking bowl of cereal. And I looked at him and I said, "Who's gonna eat this?" I'm like, "Who's gonna eat this?"
Well, the funny thing was, Lauren came running over and she's like, "Me," because she was eating it. There were two cute little baby, like kid spoons, and Lila knows, like, we've told her that, like, we have a baby gate at the top and the bottom of our stairs, and she knows how to open and close it.
Yeah, and she's very responsible with it.
Yeah, and we have rules and we've set things in our house, and she knows, like, what she can and can't do, and we have, child safety door handle, whatever, that she has also figured out how to get out of.
Our neighbors come over and they can't figure out how to get out of our house.
We trap our neighbors in our house. But she knows, like, what the rules are if she goes downstairs, and if she opens the fridge and whatever, she has to close it at least. And, like, she knows that she can get snacks and stuff. But sometimes when, like, in the morning, this is, oh my gosh, I want to know what other parents do also when older kids who are on the border of, like, it's okay for them to walk away for like 10 minutes downstairs by themselves, or 5 minutes or 2 minutes or whatever. And then kids who you can't trust to be by themselves at all for any period of time. Like, the kids who are just getting into that space where it's okay, you can give them a couple minutes of trust time by themselves in a room.
Yeah.
Like, what is okay and how does it work? Because Lila is old enough now where we trust her to go downstairs and do this stuff. Yeah. But she's like, every once in a while, she'll wake up before us and she'll just be like, I'm just going to go downstairs for a little while and I'm not going to tell mom and dad.
It's like when you take a dog to a big field. Like, they might be really good off a leash. They might be really well behaved at a dog park. And then you take them to, like, a big, wide open, big field. And they get that, like, split second of, like, it's time to run free.
We're going.
And they're just gone. Yeah, Lila, she has a little bit of that still going on in her mind. And I think it's a mixture of, like, she is so badly wanting to be, like, mature and independent. Yeah. So, like, in her mind, doing things by herself is, like, top priority.
It's cool.
Even though it might be completely not what you're supposed to be doing by yourself.
Well, ma'am, do you remember, like, getting left home alone for the first time?
I don't remember the first time. Well, I had an older sister.
Yeah, that's true. So you were never really, like, alone.
Yeah, I mean, like, I was...
Or, like, did you get off the bus from school, like, around, like, whatever, 3, and then your parents
I used to have to walk
come home
to school.
Do I hear a child?
I don't think so. I think we're golden.
Okay. No, there's, like, that. Well, so, like, when you got home from school and your
like
parents were home from work. Yeah. That was always weird.
I never really thought anything about it.
I know, right? You never really questioned, like, oh, I'm here. You just know your mom's going to come home or your dad's going to come home and you're like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. So did you ride the bus when you were little?
I did.
So I had to walk.
Okay. You weren't too far, though. You were, like, right down the road.
A mile.
From high school.
So high school I didn't walk every day, but I did walk a little bit. Like, elementary school, I guess elementary school I did take the bus because it was like way out in the country.
Yeah.
But junior high, like I had to walk.
See, my junior high was the farthest from where I lived. My high school was like a mile away.
Yeah.
But my junior high was probably like a solid 5 or 10 miles away, somewhere in between there.
Yeah, and see, like, it was weird too because we had, like, our neighbors were typically either home or like there were always people around. It wasn't like I was, by myself or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I can remember, being home alone, but by the time I was home alone, I wasn't like filling up gallon-sized buckets of cereal. I think I would have gotten my butt whipped if I did that.
Yeah.
But man, it was cute. If it would take that girl, either one of those girls, it would take them a week to eat that much cereal. I don't know whose idea it was, but one of them had to be like, is that enough? Keep going. Keep going. Is that enough? Keep going. More. Just put all of it. I almost wonder if like Lauren dumped an entire box of cereal in, and then Lila was like,
well, let's take advantage of this.
Let's put the milk in.
Yeah. We got to make the most of it now.
So
not understanding that like science and things absorb other things and it doesn't stay constant. Yeah, I know.
It's so yeah, we had the internet go out. And then we had the mouse thing was it wasn't even part of the stressful week, but
oh my God,
the food wasting that has been going on with our children has been an unexpected challenge. I will say that because it's like you want to teach them to what I've been trying to do with our kids lately. I'll just speak for myself is that I do not give them the entire thing of what they're going to eat.
Yeah.
So I give them half.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, if you eat it, you can have more.
Yeah.
So they're like, I wonder if it's backfiring. I wonder if they're like, well, Dad only gives us like a little bit of cereal. So when I get it, I'm going to like make 8 bowls. So now they're in this thing where they're like, they'll walk up and be like, Dad, I made you a bowl of cereal. And it'll be this giant thing with like chocolate fudge on it. And like, what is this? But it's so sweet because they're just trying to be, independent and old.
Okay, I have to. I'm sorry. I have to bring up TikTok right now because whoever this creator was did a phenomenal job explaining about what I'm about to say.
Okay.
So there was a guy, like a kid, and he was like, the first character was like the mom, like banging on the bathroom door. And it was like, my mom mad at me for being in the bathroom for 20 minutes. And then
I think I saw
the door opened and it was like me doing science experiments in my sink. And it was like shampoo, toothpaste, and like conditioner. And it was just like the weirdest look on this kid's face. But it's so true. Like I used to do that as a kid. I can remember like my brother and I in the bathroom mixing all of like the liquids together. Like you just want to see what it does. And like you stir it all up and it's like bubbles.
I just had the worst flashback.
Was that just me? Did you not do experiments in your bathroom?
No, I think I got in trouble for wasting stuff like that. I don't think I ever did that.
Oh, we had to use it.
Do you remember? I'm trying to remember who it was. It was Lila. When we lived in Utah. I think. No, it was I can't remember. Anyway. I walked in, I started filling up a bath, and I put just a little bit of water in. And she was like, I want to say Lila was like 3. She was 3. And it was at that time where she like made a lot of noise in the bathtub.
Yeah.
So it was like I could walk away if there was like a little bit of water, and I like as long as I'm hearing like her splashing around, like she's playing, and I'm like, okay. So if I had to go like change laundry or whatever, I could walk away and come back.
Oh, you're trusting.
Well, so for like from the kitchen to the bathtub, it was like 10 feet, and I could hear her, and I'd be talking to her, so like the whole time we're like having a conversation, and I remember she got quiet for a second, but I could still hear her move. Like, like she wasn't like drowning in the bathtub or anything, but I walked in there and I almost could not believe what I saw. She had slowly, in like a minute, slowly unraveled an entire roll of toilet paper and put it in the water and basically like gone like like going like this.
Agitated it?
Yeah, like agitated it up and like mixed it up. And it was just disintegrated. It was just this like soupy
when that
toilet
stuff
paper
goes
water.
Down the drain.
Oh no, that was the whole thing.
You had to
I had to
strain it
get
out.
it out, but it had gotten to be so small that like even a kitchen strainer, like a strainer that you'd put like vegetables in, it would just go right through. And I'm like, so she thought it was hilarious. She's like, Dad, look. And I'm like,
oh no.
Oh my gosh.
What do I do? It's basically just like mud water. So it just
it
hardens on the pipes as the way. Yeah.
It was so bad. So bad. Because even when I tried to let the water go down, it would block the water from going down.
It would just be clogged.
Yeah. I just remembered that.
That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
What else happened this week?
I don't know. You had 4 days off.
I did.
That was really nice.
So did Lila. She had Valentine's Day.
We had Friday.
And Monday,
Saturday, today, and we have tomorrow off, which is awesome.
I know.
That is pretty sweet.
That was really loud. Whoops.
It would be really great if we could get fast internet again so we could actually do something with the day off. That'd be good.
You know what's really great, though? If we ever go wilderness camping, it's just going to be like normal, but more trees.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. We probably would get better service in the wilderness.
I'm not lying to you. That's probably true. What would you, if you were a forest, what's it called when you're a
ranger
person? Yeah. If you were a forest ranger,
yeah,
and you were in charge of the Wi-Fi that the forest had, what would you name it?
What would I name the forest Wi-Fi?
Yeah. If you had a name, you're creatively on the spot right now. If you had to come up with a forest Wi-Fi name.
Like Broadleaf Band?
Oh, that was good.
Is that pretty good?
That wasn't bad.
Or like, I don't know. So,
I don't know.
How does your mind come up with these things?
I'm trapped in my brain. I don't know. I'm forever trapped in here.
If I had to come up with a Wi-Fi name for a forest internet.
Yeah, like if you're the forest ranger.
I think Broadleaf Band is pretty good.
The government calls up all the forest rangers like, hey, we just instated this new policy where every national forest now has Wi-Fi. The trees are going to be the ping points, so it's really strong. And you have to name the Wi-Fi really good so you know when to connect. What would you name it?
I don't know. What would you name it?
Shit. I don't think you were going to ask me that. I would name it... Okay, I got to think about it. I got to think about a good one.
Is your brain as fried as mine is right now? You think about that, and I want to talk about one more thing.
Okay.
So I went into town to get some late night groceries after our kids had used a gallon of milk in their bowl of cereal, and we had run out of milk. So I walk into Walmart.
Log in here.
Log in?
Because it's trees. Log in here. Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, so I'll come up. Okay, go ahead. I'll do a better one.
This is probably very common in other places. This is the first time I've seen it. The Zamboni that drives around the store didn't have a person on it.
That's terrifying. A Roomba.
Yeah.
For Walmart.
And like, call me small-minded or, whatever. But I walk into Walmart, and it's usually a young girl that, like, hates her job. And she sits there on the Zamboni and drives it. Like, it's the same girl every time. I always say hi to her. I'm like, hey, how you doing? She's like, great. I'm like, how's your Zamboni? She's like,
how's your Zamboni?
Yeah, I'm like, okay. So anyway, I always try to be nice to her because I recognize her. So I get there, and I'm picking out some bananas. And I look over. I hear it running. It's the same, like, late night. They're cleaning floors and stuff. I hear it, and then I look over, and I realize there's nobody on it. The first thing that crossed my mind was, oh, shit, somebody had an accident. I'm like, where is the person?
That's fair.
Like, did they have a stroke? Like,
yeah.
Did they get hurt? Are they laying on the ground? So I'm like looking around and I'm like, oh no. So they've got these like, straps like on the side so nobody can climb up on it. They're like locked.
Yeah.
And I realize I'm like, oh, this thing's like driving itself.
Auto mode.
It's on like auto mode, or someone's like remote control driving it. Like, I'm like, that's kind of, why would you do that if you still have to drive it? Anyway, so I'm like looking at this thing, and at first it's just going straight. It's just going down the long length.
And you want to see what happens at the end of its path.
Well, no, I'm like,
I would.
I wasn't sure if it was going to stop.
That's what I mean. I would wait it out.
Oh, yeah. But like, I'm the only one in the section with this thing going.
I would have waited it out.
And I'm like,
did you wait it out?
No, I'm like, am I on a hidden camera TV show right now? I'm like looking at it like, okay, this is the first time I've ever seen this thing. It's just driving straight. Is it like the
old blue one?
No,
it's teal blue looking one?
No, it's like a green one.
Oh.
It was like a green one.
Okay.
So I'm like watching this thing, and it turns, and I'm like, how is it doing this? So I'm trying to figure out if it's like a Roomba, if it like, or if it has like a path that it's programmed to take.
Yeah.
So I purposely get in front of it. I walk in front of it, see what it does. I'm like, okay. So I pulled my cart out.
Ballsy.
And it stopped, and it started like beeping. And I'm like, oh, fuck you. I'm like, I'm just trying to get my bananas. I'm like, all right, whatever. So it stopped, and it waited. And then as I'm going, it was kind of like weird because I forgot a couple things, so I had to come back to the section.
Because you were chasing the Zamboni.
No, but it kept getting in my way. So like at one point it was like on the end of an aisle, and I was coming out, and it like sort of stopped. It like slowed down.
Was it following you?
Well, a couple times it was like coming down behind, and I'm like, this is so weird. I'm like, can one of the employees see me right now? Like, are they just like, you? No, but I was like, okay, so like, is somebody watching this?
Yeah.
Like, are they watching the footage, making sure? Like,
right.
What happens if it goes haywire?
Yeah.
And just like starts taking out a house. But the weird part was I caught myself. It was like coming around the corner, and I was like, oh, excuse me. And I was like, did I just freaking say excuse me to a machine? I'm like, did someone hear me? Are they going to like radio in and be like, no, you're good, go ahead. But it was like, so the first time it happened, it wasn't that big of a deal. I was like, oh, sorry, Zamboni. Let me just go around here. Oh, let me get out of your way. I'm like, okay. Like, what I'm trying to figure out is this thing just programmed? Yeah. Is it like a GPS thing?
Sure.
Or is it just like a motion detector, whatever?
Like
or
is
there someone actually watching
manning
it? Manning it. And I'm like, if it is, do I need to be polite to this thing? Like, is there a person that's going to be watching me?
Kind.
Well, like, because
accepting
it kept,
of artificial intelligence.
It kept getting in my way.
Honey.
It was like, wherever I went, that thing was coming down the aisle at me. And it was going right down the center. And I'm like, at least get on one side or the other, Anyway, so that was just weird. It was just weird. It was just weird. And
meanwhile, Elon Musk is putting men on the moon with his SpaceX program, and whoever created this thing is just like bonkers.
I was really looking forward to a nice, relaxing,
and you were being followed by a bot.
Mind-numbing trip to Walmart where I pick up my eggs and my milk, and I just casually walk through the store without clothes.
What?
Without kids. Without kids. I was wearing clothes.
Commando in Walmart.
Yes. Sorry, I was thinking about where I was. I was by the clothes.
Okay.
My relaxing walk through Walmart without clothes.
Butt naked.
But yeah, I was like, it kind of stressed me out a little bit. I was like, why is this thing right behind me the whole time? Like, it can't just be a coincidence that it was right behind me. Like, majority of the time.
You get kind of paranoid sometimes.
Was it trying to bust me for like eating grapes?
In all fairness.
Without paying for them?
You do have slight paranoia in public. Is that fair?
No. I was raised to pay attention to my surroundings.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I call it slight paranoia. You call it that. I think we're discussing the same thing here.
You know what? If a bus comes flying off the curb,
no, I agree.
I'll be the first person to see it and get out of the way.
I will fully admit right now that I could close my eyes and walk through a place and just be fine.
Yeah.
I'll be like, like, yeah, I don't pay attention as much as I should. You definitely pay attention more. than I do. Like, we were raised very differently. I agree in that regard. But yeah, it's that's funny though. I think you had slight paranoia with a robot. You're very courteous though of artificial intelligence. That's you're very accepting.
Yeah.
So when robots come out, like real live robots, and there's like bots just walking around.
I mean, that's what it was. It was a bot that was cleaning the floor.
That's true.
It was weird.
Do you know that we have essentially dog form Roombas?
Yeah.
When food drops on the floor, their nose just follows it. They eat it, and it's just gone. And you don't have to even think about it. It's just like
our
you
Roombas
feed them.
Our Roombas clean out the trash can, and they
rip apart the trash to make sure that there's no food in there.
They will get up on counters. They will get up on furniture.
Yeah.
Just wherever the food is, they get it.
They get it.
It's pretty sweet.
It's a very advanced technology. It's actually really funny.
We're talking about our dogs.
We call them our roof buzz because we've coined that term now. But yeah, we've talked about that too. Like, our kids are super kids. They're just normal kids, and when they eat food, like 30% of it goes outside of their body and not in their mouth, so it ends up on the floor and on their clothes and like whatever.
Carly said this week, this was a week. Carly goes, what were we doing? Oh, Valentine's Day. We were helping Lila make Valentine's Day Rice Krispie treats for her class, which was super sweet. But Carly goes, she walked up to me the other day. She goes, have you ever seen how Lila eats like small,
like a loose snack, like cereal, like, or like Cheerios?
I'm like, I mean, yeah.
Not one item, like a banana. It's like you can only eat a banana. Like,
she goes, I looked back and she took a handful and she was just like, like doing this. And she goes, it was going everywhere. She goes, maybe like 25% of it went in her mouth. So I'm like, it makes sense why her car is destroyed when we let her have Cheerios or whatever.
The back seat. Like, so she sits all the way in the back, and there's food. There's like a small area where there's no food, and then around that small area, there's just food everywhere.
Okay. I'm trying so hard to what do they call it? The silver lining, the cuteness, the good in every like bad story.
Yeah.
We were in the car this week, and Sweet little Lauren wanted lemonade.
Oh.
And we ordered a medium lemonade when we were driving through a fast food place to grab a snack. And how would you describe Lauren's grip? When you go to hand her something, whatever it is, it could be a book, it could be her toothbrush, like anything, a piece of food. A drink. If my hand was the thing I was handing, how would she grab it? Show me. Show me again. Just.
Or she'll,
it's not
or
that
she'll
hard.
Like,
she doesn't grab it that hard.
Or she'll like.
It's soft, way soft. Yeah. Oh, can't get it. Oh, almost.
And it's usually like a 5-pound item or like a pound item or something. 5 pounds. No, it's
I heard,
a heavy thing.
All I heard was Carly go, "Here you go, babe." And then I heard, no, bang, and then the sound of liquid.
Well, and it doesn't help too that when a kid, she has little hands,
that's the second time that underneath the passenger seat in the back has had a full cup of lemonade dropped.
Well,
we're going to have to scrub that thing so bad.
I've gotten
this
better
spring to get it out.
I know. We're going to like power wash our things. I've gotten better at when we get any kind of drink, whether it's like water or like whatever in the car, I'll put it in like the fail-proof like Camelback cups where they can't spill it.
Yeah.
Because
just something.
It's just, as much as you want to trust them with stuff like that, like those cups are like a McDonald's cup or like a fast food cup is pretty.
Anything with a lid.
It's hard for her to hold on to, because it's heavy and it's like a big.
She doesn't have a big enough hand yet to grab it with one hand.
So that's why the Camelbacks are cool, because she can stick her finger in the little like hole or handle or whatever. Oh. But she has a hard time grabbing those. So her go-to is like she'll try to grab the lid, or she'll
pinches the
grab
edge
it,
of the
like,
lid
and it
to hold it by
pops
the
up.
top.
And we've showed her, we've given her some examples before about like why this isn't good, and we've showed her like, hey, this top pops off. But
what a week.
That was funny.
Yeah, that sound is a doozy. When you
we do a pretty good job. We do a pretty good job, I would say, when stuff like that happens. We don't get overly mad. We get disappointed. We say like, oh, like, buddy, you got to grab it harder.
Two hands,
you got to
babe.
grab it.
Two
but
hands.
then, I think she's not like afraid of doing something like that. Like there's not a fear where she's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to get like scolded really bad. But I think in her brain, she's just kind of like, well, it seems convenient at the time. Like, I'm just going to grab this. It's no.
The worst part was that it spilled everywhere. And I was like, oh, and I'm like mopping it up with napkins or whatever. And like the towel we had in the car. And I'm like, oh, it's gone. There's like one ice cube in the bottom of it. And then she goes, can I have my lemonade?
I felt so bad.
I'm like, honey, it's gone.
I knew that as soon as we got that car, I was like, we need to get those WeatherTech mats. There's no way in hell that this car is going to stay nice.
We didn't do it. We didn't do it.
And they're really not that expensive. They're like $200, but if you think about how much that would save you from vacuuming and cleaning, and you can just pull them out and like hose them off. Yeah. We should get those this year. More like the damage is already done. Why?
Yeah,
what's the point? Done. We'll just lay trash bags down at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm getting that dry throat. Apologies in advance if I start hacking up.
You're getting dry throat?
Yeah, like that, like, oh, I got a cough. When you sit in like a classroom and you're about to take a test and you're like, I have a cough that's not going to stop.
Yeah.
And then
that's
rough.
Can't
stop coughing.
I don't know what it is. It's just like the winter here has been so dry.
Yeah.
I mean, the girls have a humidifier that runs all the time, but it's still super dry in the house.
It is.
It's okay. Well, what else happened this week?
The slam dunk contest. That was fun to watch. I can't wait. We're going to do a sports related podcast about sports knowledge because I admittedly know little about sports compared to probably most men and women who watch sports. I've learned quite a bit about the genre of sports since I've met you.
Well,
football for sure.
What did you think about? Well, hold on. So before we talk about that, I do have to call out that our crappy internet caused us to completely miss the Super Bowl.
100%. And on top of this, sorry, pity party for two here.
Our internet went out the day of the Super Bowl.
Pity party for two people. We are both advertising majors. We both majored in advertising in college. We both have bachelor's degree, whatever. So we've been through the rigmarole of like learning about all of the things, and the Super Bowl obviously is like a big one for advertising.
It's the mecca. It's the number one.
It's the biggest spend in ads and all this crap, whatever. So we always enjoy not only watching for the football, but as many Americans do, watch for the advertisements. But then we like analyze and talk about like what brands did what, whatever.
When we were in college, that
was an assignment. We like had to watch the Super Bowl and then like come to class the next day to talk about what we saw, like
had to review
in relevant terms.
So
so we missed that too.
We completely missed the Super Bowl, and so I'm a sports fan, but I'm not a huge sports fan. So like there are certain things that I like to watch. Yeah. Like I typically like the NCAA basketball tournament. Love to watch that because they play hard. Like the Super Bowl, that's a big one. Like the people play hard. Never been like a big World Series baseball fan because there's 7 games and it's like
they're long.
It's long.
Baseball's hard to watch sometimes. It gets very long.
All-Star Weekend, I make a point if I can to watch the 3-point contest and the dunk contest. And so you didn't watch the 3-point contest, but it was a doozy.
What was it?
Yeah, the guys that were shooting this year.
Is that where they just have like a rack of balls and they just shoot as many as they can?
There's 5 racks.
Okay.
Yeah, and this year they added in something called the Mountain Dew ball. There were 2 balls that were like way far back, like long range threes.
Yeah.
They were worth 3 points.
Oh shit.
So typically like the regular colored basketballs are a point, and then the ones that are like red, white, and blue. Those are the money balls. They're worth 2 points.
Yeah.
So it's a strategy.
I remember that.
And then you have like a rack. You can set up a rack, 1 out of the 5 racks of all money balls, and you can pick which rack you want it to be, like the first one or the last one. So this year, the guy that like everybody thought was going to win it, he was winning it until the very last guy went.
Uh-oh.
And the very last shot of the 3-point contest was a money ball. So when the guy shot the last shot, he was down by 1, and he sank the money ball to go up by 1 and beat him.
Oh, shit.
So it was cool. It was very cool. But yeah, so this year, the dunk contest, you watched the dunk contest.
I did.
What did you think about the dunk contest?
I applaud the athleticism of every single one of those people, and I have little to compare it to because I would give out all of them a 10. Like when Matt was like, oh, he'll watch and be like, oh, that wasn't that good. Or like, oh my God, that was so amazing. I'm just like, okay, that guy just jumped up and put a ball in the hoop. That's all I know. I don't know anything else. I really don't have like a lot to compare it to in my brain. Like I haven't watched a ton of basketball and like, especially like trick shots or whatever. I like really don't know what to compare it to. But I mean, some of those moves, I cannot imagine being able to move my body that fast in like perpetual motion.
Yeah.
And then also putting a ball, like scoring at the same time. I don't understand. Like,
so there's
the athleticism of those people is just like insane.
There's 2 types of jumpers. There's people that can jump really high off of 2 feet.
Yeah.
So 2-footed jumpers. And then there's people that can jump, but they typically jump off of 1 foot.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 very different types of jumpers. So like some of the guys, if you noticed, the guy Derek Jones Jr., the guy that ended up winning it, he was kind of more like a 1-footed jumper.
Yeah.
You could kind of tell.
He would go off of 1.
He'd go off of 1, and then he'd go through the legs.
Right.
And that's like kind of a telltale sign of like a 1-footed jumper. But man, Aaron Gordon, I don't know how that guy isn't just raging. So, I don't know, 2 years ago or whenever it was, him and Zach LaVine, you probably didn't see that dunk contest. I watched it. It was awesome. And I think that dunk contest also, Aaron Gordon, he plays for the Magic. Orlando Magic.
Boy.
He's on the Magic. The dude can jump out of the gym. I mean, he can jump out of the gym. And I think 2 years ago or whatever it was, 3 years ago, he got the first 4 dunks he did, like the 2 to get him into the finals and then the 2 in the finals. I think he got all 50s. So like 50, 50, 50, 50. So he had a perfect score. And then basically what happens is if you make it into the finals, so like you do 2 dunks and then they cut you know, like they cut the people that don't make it. And then you have to do 2 dunks in the finals. So they don't take into consideration the dunks in the first round. Yeah. It's not like total score.
Right.
It's like you just have to
go to the next round.
Yeah, first round finals. So he ended up getting into a dunk off because the 2 guys were tied. And he ended up losing to a dunk, whatever. Zach LaVine did a dunk. But he ended up losing, which he shouldn't have been. He shouldn't have lost. Like, everybody was like, what? It was like, oh my gosh, he just got robbed. And the dude had it happen again.
I heard them talking about that.
Like, to the point where, like, all the people were like, okay, just stop this. Like, give them both the trophy.
Yeah,
give them, like, they're both winners. Like, don't.
They're like, come on, judges. Make the right call here.
I don't know how.
So they were trying to basically avoid that from happening again is what the announcers wanted to do.
Well, so like what people were saying today, was that Aaron Gordon has done stuff in the dunk contest that has literally never been done. Like the stuff that he's pulled out is like jaw dropping, and he has never won the dunk contest.
Yeah, that stinks.
He's been robbed twice. So it's like, yeesh.
That stinks.
Yeesh. But the good news is we did get to watch that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Which was fun.
I still can't wrap my brain around like how good you'd have to actually be to jump up that high and put a ball in a hoop. You've seen me try to do a pull-up.
So I'm 6'3", and I was a long jumper and I high jumped. on the track and field team, and I could dunk, but it wasn't like I was like a dunker, right? Like I was like a 1-footed jumper, and I could dunk a basketball. Like I've got not the biggest hands. So like if you put a volleyball in my hand, like I could palm that like real well, but like a basketball is just a little bit big. Anyway, I was not gifted with large hands. But so dunking there weren't very many people that could dunk. Like there were 2 or 3 in my high school that could dunk with 2 hands.
Yeah.
Like that's how rare it was. Like one of my good friends, he was only 6 feet tall, but he could jump like crazy, and he could dunk, 2 hands and do 360s and stuff, which was crazy to think about. But these dudes are literally jumping to the point where their faces are at the rim. Like I'm 6'3".
It was almost like watching a video game.
Yeah.
It was like not real.
It's like stuff in video games 10 years ago didn't even do that. It was like some of the stuff these guys are doing is just crazy. So
yeah, that was cool to watch.
I wish I could have watched the Super Bowl because I heard it was a doozy.
I like when they cut to people's reactions.
Oh.
When people are dunking and they're like, they cut to all the people's, or the sideline people's reactions, and they're like all like jumping up and down. And it's like every time they'd cut to Shaq's face, he'd always just be like in awe or just like goofy.
Most of the time, those old guys that played don't get worked up. They're like, meh. Yeah. There are a lot of guys that are watching the competition used to be in the competition, so they're like, yeah, that's good. Seen it, yeah. But when everybody in the building jumps up and they're like, whoa, like that guy should win, and it didn't. But so being from Michigan State, there was a guy, Jason Richardson. Do you remember Jay Rich? He was in the dunk contest. Gosh, I have no idea what year it was. It's probably been 10 years ago. He attempted to do a dunk. Jason Richardson, in my opinion, was one of the best dunkers like of all time. Like even in college, he used to just posterize people. He attempted to do a dunk 3 times and he missed all 3 times. But what the dunk was he started on the right side of the floor, ran in and did like a backwards 360. So like if you're running in, you just you go with your hand.
Yeah.
That's like a typical 360. He tried running in a backwards 360, but he tried to go between the legs around the back and dunk while doing a 360. So a 360 between the legs around the back and dunk one-handed.
Yeah. And
he almost got it. Like he went for broke. Like if he would have hit that dunk, he would have gone down as the best dunk of all time. It looked ridiculous. I'll show you. I'll pull it up.
I feel like that was a dare that was said when I was in like 7th grade on the trampoline. But you can't go around your back and under your legs and spin around in a big circle before you land on your feet.
I can't remember who the judges were, but I remember when that dude tried that dunk. He came out, and the first time he did it, because he had fresh legs, he was the closest he got. And I think the way it went was he 360 through the legs around the back, and the way it came around the back, he had to dunk it like reverse with one hand. And the dude got so high, and they watched him do it. Everybody just sat there going, did he just fucking try that? Like, what? Like, what did he just do? And they're like, do it again, like, let him go. They were like, they just wanted him to do it. Oh, yeah. They're like, we don't care how many times you have to try it. Like, just go land this dunk. Yeah. But I don't know. Some of the stuff last night was pretty cool. It didn't overly impress me. Like, they jumped out of the building, which was cool. But I don't know. It just didn't have the pizzazz I was looking for. Oh, some of the stuff was cool to watch. Excuse you. The one that Aaron Gordon pulled off where it like bounced off the side of the backboard, that was pretty slick. But anyway.
Trick shots.
Anyway, I am dragging. How are you doing?
We are here in an hour?
Yeah.
That went like fast.
I am not a dragon. Like a fire-breathing dragon.
You're a dragon. Sometimes you are a dragon.
I'm a dragon tonight.
When you sleep, you're a dragon. You sound like one.
I just feel good that I'm so thankful that we get tomorrow to just
Tomorrow's President's Day. Who's your favorite president?
My favorite president?
Yeah. Current or past?
Slick Willie.
Slick Willie. Nice.
Bill Clinton. Slick Willie. No, I don't know. That's a good question. Who's my favorite president?
Yeah.
Like, just out of all the presidents?
Sure, for any reason.
I would say that my favorite president is Abraham Lincoln.
Okay.
Yeah. He has the most notable, like historically changing mindset out of all the presidents.
Sure.
I would say. What do you think?
I would have to say Theodore Roosevelt for his work with the National Forest System.
Damn it.
That's just I've been to a couple of them. They're pretty cool. But also, I took AP US history, and I'm having a hard time recalling all of the good ones.
That's a really good
Like,
point.
I remember Ronald Reagan. I remember a lot of really good things about Ronald Reagan.
Teddy Roosevelt.
I believe
was so stupid
also,
of me to say.
Who was president when you were born? 84? Was that
Bush? No, it wasn't Bush.
Reagan?
I'm not sure.
God,
Good question.
Stink.
I don't know.
I had it down in high school, like AP US history. You're just like, gotta get it down.
Yeah. Man, how did I not say Teddy Roosevelt?
I don't know.
You ask me these important questions, and I'm tired.
President's Day.
I'm putting my foot in
My
my
favorite
mouth.
president is George Washington because he had to take the first job that nobody wanted. He had to travel on a boat to take that job.
That's not that bad. Who's your least favorite president?
Oh boy. Oops. I'm sorry. That's a great question.
Which one do you not like?
I've heard bad things about Andrew Jackson.
Why?
I think he was kind of a dick.
Was he?
I honestly have no idea, but I actually think he might have been.
Who's the worst president we've ever had?
Oh, we're getting political here. I like Hamilton because he's on the $50 bill. Or
Benjamin Franklin?
yeah, he's a crisp 100, When you get that, you're like,
It's all about the Benjamin.
this guy's face.
I'm guessing probably the worst president, like that most people would agree on.
Like policy-wise or a
Nixon?
personality?
Nixon?
Like, because he was a
scumbag?
wow. I don't know. I'm out. Tap out. I don't know enough about to make those claims.
We're going to have to do some research.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll do that tomorrow.
We should
do a little research, presidential research.
I did a whole year's worth of research in high school and then forgot it all.
Well.
Did you like history classes in high school?
No, I did not.
I didn't either. A lot of memorization and stuff. But it was good to learn. We sound really snotty. You didn't remember.
Oh my gosh, I hated history class.
We had to learn about our country.
Oh, I don't want to read books.
Ew. No, there's a lot of really cool things. I had a teacher also, Mr. Brandon. He was a very cool guy.
I honestly couldn't tell you anything we did in my history class in high school.
It was history for you.
What?
It was just history for you.
History was not my subject.
Would you like to circle back to the Wi-Fi name of a national forest if you had to name one?
Sure.
What's yours?
Oh.
Mine's Logon.
I thought you were going to burn the house down with a really good one.
Log on here.
Log on here.
Wi-Fi for us. Forest. Like forest. Wi-Fi for forest.
Yeah.
For us. I don't know. I like to just make up weird things sometimes. Sometimes I just like to use my brain creatively and think about what the heck I would have to do if I did something.
A Wi-Fi name for a forest.
Like, here's a good, use this to rack your brain. Bark, branch, wood, tree, log, leaf, pine needle. I'm just giving you vocab words so you can formulate your name.
Okay.
Put them in the comments. You know what to do. Come on, help me out here.
We got to wrap this up.
Forest, fire, burning, wood, trees, leaves. What would it be? Mine's Logon now.
I liked my broadleaf band.
Broadleaf band. That's actually pretty good. Okay, we'll leave it at that. All right.
Okay. Thanks for watching, guys.
Sorry, this was a weird one.
This might take 8 weeks to upload, so
yeah,
we'll see you in April.
Let us know when you watch. Let us know when the heck they watch this when it pops up.
Yeah.
Do we even exist? We need to get better internet. Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
See you later. Next one. Bye.